This week, Politico interviewed Ruth Ben-Ghiat, professor of history and an expert on authoritarianism at New York University. She had this to say about the governor. Quote, DeSantis has autocratic tendencies. He has absorbed the lessons of what you need to get ahead in the GOP today, and that is to be a forceful bully, even to high school students. That's one way he's setting up Florida to be the fiefdom of a certain politics, a certain ideology that he clearly then wants to take national. End quote. Joining me now is Ruth Ben-Ghiat, professor of history at New York University and author of Strongmen, Mussolini to the President. Ruth, it's good to see you. Thank you for being with us. This is uniquely relevant because to a lot of Americans, Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, and it doesn't make any difference to them. It doesn't matter to them. But you make the argument that he is setting himself up. He's watched Donald Trump's relative success and is trying to figure out how to possibly even do it better.
That's exactly right. And the lesson is when you have somebody like Trump come into the system, he spawns imitators. And Ron DeSantis has absorbed his lessons, even his hand gestures. But what's so disturbing is not just the content of what he's doing in Florida with anti-critical race theory, anti-LGBTQ rights, the whole menu of repressive GOP policies, but his style of leadership. His executive overreach. You know, he's involving himself in things that governors never did before, not just redistricting, but also appointments to the state Supreme Court. And as for the measure against Disney, I feel like it's something out of Viktor Orban's Hungary, because basically he's financially and otherwise punishing and harassing a corporation because it doesn't agree with his ideas.
Which it's actually contrary to the way Republicans used to see things, right? The idea that you would punish a corporation for not agreeing with your ideas is not a traditionally Republican or conservative view.
No, but the thing with the new breed of Trumpians, and DeSantis is the primary one, it's about amassing personal power. It's about bullying people. And he got the state legislator to approve his Disney and other things in record time. And you always have to ask who's going to benefit from this? What's the point? And certainly not the people of Florida. They're going to have, you know, in that area, they're going to have up to a 25% more tax burden. And the Reedy Creek district that's now being punished is going to be left with $164 million tax burden and no way to get that revenue. So who is benefiting this? Just the power of DeSantis.
Let me ask you about this whole concept of framing restrictions on activity, restrictions on speech, restrictions on teaching as freedom. That's the interesting part. Like, DeSantis can do everything he's done, except he cloaks it all in, I'm giving you greater freedom.
Yeah, this is very disturbing. It's actually an old right-wing playbook to set yourself up as the liberal democracy is tyranny and you are the advocate of freedom. And, you know, if we really look at what he's done is he's clamping down on if you don't agree with his science, you know, if you're pro-science, you don't agree with his COVID policies, he fires you. And then he appoints a new Surgeon General. So he's punitive. And this is the kind of projection, but it's a classic right-wing tactic to make yourself the bastion of freedom. I'm also worried because he's setting himself up to have this kind of regional power base. Remember, at the height of the pandemic, he invited policemen and others who didn't want to submit to tyrannical mask mandates to come and be free in Florida. So he's setting himself up as the kind of nemesis of federal government. And that's a very subversive and extremist thing to do in my book.
Ruth, thanks as always for being with us. Ruth Ben-Ghiat is a professor of history at the New York University. We always appreciate your time.